Ms Arlene Foster.
Thank you very much, Mr Principal Deputy Speaker, and can I join with the rest of the members who will speak on this motion in fundamentally condemning the attack which took place over a number of days actually in France and in Paris and outside of Paris. It did come actually after other attacks which have taken place on the mainland of Europe, particularly in Brussels, when we think of the attack that happened at the Jewish Museum there. And indeed, the crime of the victims varied from, as we've heard, from satire, from being Jewish, or simply being a police officer on duty on that particular day. And there's a real sense, even through our television screens, of fear coming across, because there was a sense of the unknown that was really pervading through the streets of Paris and indeed elsewhere as well. And of course we're very much aware that Islamic extremists are the perpetrators, and just as here in Northern Ireland the terrorists did not speak for the community here during their worst excesses, very much Islamic terrorists do not represent the Muslim world either. And as Enterprise Minister, I have had the pleasure and indeed privilege of working with many from the Muslim world over my period in office, and of course will continue to do so. But the horrific death toll in Paris, and it is horrific, also leads us to other outrages that have occurred, maybe not in the Western world, and maybe that's why they haven't had as much attention. But I think in particular, and we've heard of Pakistan, indeed in Iraq, what's going on there in relation to the sectarian violence and the violence against Christians and Yazidis, and also in Nigeria, where just last week it is believed that a town was razed to the ground and 2,000 people lost their lives. An absolutely shocking indictment of what's going on in the world today. More than 1 million people have been displaced in Nigeria, and hundreds of thousands have fled to neighbouring countries, and many children have been separated from their parents and simply don't know whether their mother and father are alive or dead. But back here in the United Kingdom, we must be alert. We must work with the lawful authorities to try and prevent anything similar happening here, and I commend the work of our security services as they work against those in the shadows and the terrorists that exist today. I do also appeal to this House that we work to support the work of international agencies that try and deal with the horrors in places like Iraq and Nigeria as well. A human life is as valuable in France, in the UK, as indeed it is in Nigeria, and I would ask that House to reflect that today. Thank you.
Thank you. And I call